We're in an exciting time right now in Seattle. Last year, we were the fastest growing city in the country. And when we look ahead, it's not going to stop. The next 20 years, we see 120,000 new residents coming in, 115,000 new jobs. This is a huge opportunity. And luckily, this year, 2015, could be a defining moment. This is the year where we set our comprehensive growth plan, looking ahead 20 years at all the major land use questions.
We talk about transportation and land use, parks and open space. So it's really the one plan that we have in the city that has the broadest reach.
We need to get this vision statement right, and we need everyone at the table to be there.
I think Seattle does a lot of really great outreach and engagement strategies, but we are reliant on a system that was created decades ago.
Before even there was the internet, where there's a series of
several meetings held after work, usually in community centers or some kind of facilities.
And a very small group of people show up to those meetings and their dedication is appreciated.
You're going to have nothing but problems.
Bad monsters have a right to pollute this earth.
Keep those trains far from us.
You're not getting the perspective of the people who are doing the work. War is far from over.
We're missing a huge segment of the population who doesn't have the time to show up at a meeting after work or during work.
Our system in place is actually an obstacle that prevents people from participating.
If we held a community forum on one idea and we had over 600 people come, huge turnout, packed audience. And we are talking less than 1% of the more than 650,000 people in Seattle. So there's no way that we're hearing all the important things there.
It's important for Seattle to get this right early is because we've been experiencing huge growth in immigrant refugee communities and communities of color. Seattle is home to one of the most diverse zip codes in the country. 129 languages are spoken there. And today, immigrants and refugees make up 1/5 of the city. And then on top of that, we also know that 1/3 of the immigrant refugee communities in Seattle are linguistically isolated, meaning that no English is spoken whatsoever in the household. So when you take all of those things into consideration, it really helps you to understand that if we're ever going to achieve policy that serves all of the city's residents, there's no way for us to do that without making sure that all of the city's voices are included.
We live in an area rich with technology. It's time we implement the new social media tools and strategies, many of which were developed in our own backyard. We will balance the traditional with the technology of today. We will utilize digital outreach, telephone town halls, and other ways to engage those deeply affected by what happens at City Hall, but we seldom hear from.
It's not a brushstroke. What works for someone isn't going to work for everyone.
And the answer is, instead of us, bringing them to our meeting, we try and bring the meeting to them.
So that anybody can participate in their government, regardless of what time they work, where they live, how much income they make, whether they stop by the library to use a computer or use a mobile phone or use their computer at home, they can access the conversation and be part of the process too.
That will involve developing a raft of online, social, game theory, whatever techniques to include people in the conversation. We'll establish a new system we can use for other land use questions and ultimately establish a pattern we can use on any question in any neighborhood.
It's not a replacement for those face-to-face conversations, but it's really going to help bring a really diverse, hopefully a younger audience to the table, because those are the people we need to hear from. This is a long-range plan.
All these things are deeply tied to questions of affordability and justice and access. It's really important that we have lots of people who are affected making household budget decisions at the table and part of the conversation. If they're not part of the conversation, there's a chance of them being marginalized and decisions being made that will deeply affect the affordability of the city of Seattle.
When people see that their voice actually achieves results, they're going to be more engaged.
We need a variety of tools. In the simplest of terms, we want more chairs at the table and more voices heard. That's our goal. That's how we as a city will succeed. Thank you.